Hey guys, I'm going early, maybe about 30 seconds, but that's okay. So I'm going to give you guys plenty of time to hop on and say hello. I'm Kelly Walters, and we're going live today, and we are going to do a fun project just pretty much beginning to end. I'm not going to show you guys the cutting aspect of it because I've already done that, and I will tell you there was a ton of weeding involved. So I'm going to show you a pro and a con. I'm going to give you some real life scenarios here. So hello, and just like always, happy Thursday. Let's see. Let's give it a couple of minutes, seconds. I always say minutes and I never give it minutes. It's like y'all have 30 seconds to hop on before I get started. I believe Carly is on the other end for us today. So if it's not you, Carly, tell me who's behind the scenes, giving you guys all those wonderful links. That way you can follow along and know exactly where you need to go to do what I am doing. The only thing we're not going to have linked for you today is going to be the product we're decorating, but I'm going to tell you where to find it. So woo, it's Carly. I wasn't 100% sure, but I was 98. Okay, so I'm going to wait till 3:01. Hi, Nancy. Let's see, we got Ruthie, Andrea. I believe is it Ghosta? Is it Ghosta? And then I don't even know where to begin with this one. KOTIK Designs on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so sorry that I didn't want to butcher it. I didn't want to give it a shot. We got Allison. Hi, Allison. St. Louis Mo. I'm in KC, so she is just a hop, skip, and a jump from me right now. Okay, let's get rocking and rolling, guys. It's 3:01, and I gave you guys about a minute and a half, so that's enough time, right? Well, you guys can all stop what you're doing. Just kidding. Okay, so today we are sublimating a pillow, and then we are going to use two different types of vinyls and decorate on top of that pillow as well. So I said at the very, very beginning, I wasn't going to give you guys a link for the pillowcase, and that's because it's from Amazon. It's 100% polyester. It actually said sublimatable pillowcase in the description. It was a 4-pack, and I believe the 4-pack was under $20. So we're talking $5 a pop. And I really feel like you could turn around and sell this for $25, especially if you were customizing this pillowcase. If you were doing it more of a stock design, something that somebody could just, purchase and put the insert inside, maybe you could go a little bit less, but I don't think you would need to, especially with how expensive pillowcase, like decorative pillowcases are. There's an entire market for this. This may be a little too crafty for you, but at least it's going to show you a way to utilize sublimated or patterns that are on our sublimation sheets, and then also how to get a really soft hand finish on a pillow. This could also be a garment or a sweatshirt. So just let that creativity box today. So I'm going to take you to the website, and from there we are going to use the Stahl's Vinyl Designer. Guess what? This template is already in there for you to use. So you can go right on there now if you want to follow along. Or if you don't have a Stahl's account and you're not really familiar with what in the world I am talking about, then I'm going to show you exactly where to go. From there, I'll show you how to export the design. Then you would send that to whatever cutter you are using. You could even turn around and put that in the uploader, whether it be for Stahl's Transfer Express or, of course, Stahl's. Then we're going to finish weeding and heat apply. So that's the schedule for today. Okay, so let's go to Stahl's. Okay, so I'm going to start from the very beginning. And I'm also going to, we don't need this up there. And I'm going to make sure that this is full screen. So there you go. All right, it never fails. It always gives. Sometimes when I go live and then go to the website, it can go slow. So just bear with me. I am hardwired in, but we'll take it one step at a time. All right, so this is the stalls.com website. And right here, you have to be logged in order to access this vinyl designer. If you don't have a Stalls account, guys, it's super, super simple. The minute you go in and register, you will automatically get access. It's not something where you have to wait a week to get approved or anything of that sort. So as you can see, I'm logged in. Right here, we're just going to click Vinyl Designer. And then it's going to look like it's taking you to a product page. This is what a lot of our other pages look like. But you just scroll down and it's right here. Now, if you want to make this large, you can go to the full window, or you can simply just start going and remain in the Stalls website or the Stalls page versus kind of taking over your screen. So I'm going to stay here for right now just to make it a little bit easier to navigate through this live. And we're going to go down to templates. As you can see, there's quick styles, there's circle text. You already know what you want to create, then you can come straight here, add clip art, text, and even import your own files. So I'm going to go to templates because I love all of these designs that are, we're continuously uploading in here. And as you can see, you can just scroll down. And if you notice, it kind of starts with Mama for Mother's Day, then Father's Day, then we go into 4th of July, and then we go into a little bit of, fall mixed with Thanksgiving, trick-or-treating for Halloween, which is next week, which is crazy. And then we go into holiday or, Christmas and a couple of other holidays. There's Easter. So I am picking this that has all of these awesome phrases to represent this time of the year. I love that it's talking about family and pumpkin patches. This is really something that can be so versatile between now and what I would say the end of the year. So even going in to Christmas. So with that, all I did was go ahead and click on the art. So you can see that you can completely customize this. You can customize that, this, that, move this. All of this is editable. So what that means, all right, and another reason why I love this template is because think of it from a family perspective, right? So a highly personalized item. This could be somebody's family's last name. This could be all of the kids or family members. Maybe you're creating a grandpa or great grandpa, grandma, mother that has, I don't know, 10 different grandkids. You're getting the picture, right? So any type of lineage that could go right here, or even somebody's phrases. I'm going to pop on really fast. So another thing to think about is there are a ton of fundraisers going on right now. And that could be in an activity at school. That could be in somebody's sports activity, right? Like all of these things going on. I know that specifically my daughter has a fundraiser coming up for cheer. And I was just looking at that template going, oh my gosh, there's so much that could be personalized for that specific sport. And then not only are you catering to sports, then you could cater to holiday, then you could cater to family. Like there's so many different things that you could use this template for. So I'm going back. All right. So it's just one of those things where, whatever your niche is, think how you could continue to grow it. So step outside a little bit of that box and start creating something like this. So we are keeping it for the fall, thankful, what's the next one? Thanksgiving holiday, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm not changing anything in this. I could have put, maybe my last names or changed a couple things, but to me, that's perfect. So I'm just dragging and creating a box around that font. And then I am going to go to shape and I'm going to weld it. What that should do, and I've had a couple of hiccups this morning, is it's taking me a couple of times to weld everything. Now it's one box. Bear with me. Okay. Now from here, this is all as one. And I am not necessarily a fan of how that thankful looks over that font. So I want to create, a contour around thankful. That way we can really see what that word is. I'm not really too worried about not being able to see something like maize or pumpkin, because at the end of the day, I can see fires, chilly nights, and hot chocolate and know that this is talking about fall. Excuse me. Okay, so we're going to go to effects right here, and I'm going to click add new. This is where you're going to see all of the different ways that you can change the font. So you can do the envelope, where it's coming kind of more at a flag, where it's arched on the top and the bottom. As you can see, there's the hillside. I don't know what this one's called, but it just reminds me of a hillside. You can go vertical. There's so much that you can do. And I'm just going to keep scrolling all of the way down to where we start creating our outlines, our contours, and our shadows. So I am just looking for a small contour, and it's right here down at the bottom. So I'm going to select that, and immediately it applies a contour outline around our font. Now you can get into here and really start playing with some of the details on that. And then as you can see, I clicked edit, and now I can add, if we need to go one step off. And then of course, if we want our offset to be bigger or smaller, and I'm clicking and dragging up here. And dragging down just a little bit. All right. So now that we have got the thickness that we want, the next thing that we need to do is break apart these colors. That way we can stamp out what we need in the crisp mornings. Now I'm just going to quickly check comments to make sure I haven't missed anything. All right, perfect. No questions yet. As you guys can see in the comments, and Carly, if you wouldn't mind, do you have the ability to also place those links in YouTube, the YouTube part? Excuse me, our YouTube channel as well. If not, I can I don't know if I can copy and paste. Nope, I cannot copy and paste. Okay, there she goes. No, I did that. So for those of you that are tuning in, this is where we are for the visual design, or the vinyl designer for stalls. Okay, going back. Okay, so now that we are here, I am just centering this for myself. I just want to make sure that we are as center as possible. So I'm going to click arrange, center. And because that looks slightly off to me, I'm just going to make this work for myself and make it look a little bit better, in my opinion. Okay, next thing, like I said, we need to break apart those colors. So we are going to come to shape and click break apart by colors. Just going to remove that orange down. And then I'm going to select both of those pieces of art again. Next, we are just going to take that big gray blob of thankful and stamp right through those words and basically create an open spot for thankful to sit in. So I'm going to select shape again. And then now I'm going to come here and hit slice. I normally give it just a quick second. And as you can see, it has wiped out all of those letters. I'm going to delete that because we don't need it anymore. And then simply work our thankful into this art. Now, from here, it's done. Our art is complete. All we need to do is hit export. Make sure you have, created the exact same size that you need. As you can see, mine's just a little bit off in this design, but you can get as meticulous as you would like. Right now, we're working with 10.8 by 8.43. And if you're doing something like a pillow, just make sure you're not too small and make sure you're not too big. So depending on whatever your design is, you want to make sure that it fits nicely on that item. I like to maximize the space that I have. Really, if it's something like this, I don't want it to look wimpy on a pillow. I want it to be nice and bold and really stand out. Okay, so we go to File, then we hit Export, and from here you can choose to do a ping. So if you want to create mock-ups, you can easily export with a transparent background. You can see that there is a DXF and an SVG file for those of you that use craft cutters, or that's the file that you need for your cutter. And then, of course, if you would like a PDF for anything else, you definitely can. Now, just to show you, I do not have a pillow mock-up. And I wish I did, but I don't. But we're going to go to backgrounds. And you can easily add a pillow template on this. But just to give you an idea, let's go with peach, because that's fun. Try to click out of that. Now I am just selecting the art. And I'm just going to shrink it down and then place it on a t-shirt. So as you can see, if you wanted to create, really an entire graphic for your website, then you could easily do that. You can get as crafty as you want. And what's even better is that you can add another background. Oh, look, there's a tote. We could have done a tote with something like this to where it's styled for something like social media. So if you're needing to create a flat lay, then you could easily do that. Trying to select my art. There we go. That's really big, but hopefully you're catching what it should look like. So from here, this is where you could turn around and export as a ping or a PNG file, a PDF, and then turn around and post it. That's an excellent way for you to get pre-orders if you're trying to test something. And of course, if you're just trying to show somebody a proof on what it would look like, you could stage this type of picture, import into the system, and keep that on hand for as long as you need. Okay, so we are 100% done. We're going to hit export. I'm going to type thankful in here. I'm going to go to PDF because I would prefer to have a vector, and click export. And then right there, it is starting to download for me. And then all I have to do is just go put that into whatever system I'm using to cut. So today I used a Roland GS24, and I used vector cut to cut my artwork. So we've already cut, guys. Now this is where I wanted to pretty much kind of talk about real life. So I really wanted to do flock. I really wanted to do flock on flock. As you can see, or soft flock. This looks like black velvet, and it's so soft. I should have gone just a little bit deeper when I was cutting. I did do a test cut and it was fine, but because this is such thin stemmed, it was just taking me way too long to weed. So if you are trying to determine which material is best for you, I would test a couple and see what's easiest to weed. You guys know that this is a really thin stem, and it would have looked and felt so great, but for this particular project, I had to stop because I think it would have taken me way too long. You can also warm peel soft flock. So I did take it over to the press, warm it up a little bit, and peel that way. But like I said, I think I should have just gone deeper in my cutter settings, and it would have been easier to weed away and not have to worry about, little dots, or I think, what was it? I noticed I had issues with more curves. So like an S or like a W, I had issues on weeding. Give me just a second. Susan, you're saying that sound is going in and out. Is it going out in and out for anybody else? I'm waiting. Okay, so I'm gonna keep weeding. I switched to Ultra Weed, and the reason I switched was because this is a 260 application. Because we are dealing with a sublimation transfer as well, that's going to help keep everything pretty low in terms of temperature. We're not going to reactivate some of that ink. Plus, it's so thin, easy to work with. For the most part, I got much further in a shorter amount of time when it came to weeding. And I also warmed up the adhesive with the carrier face down on the press, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of tips and tricks with that. And I will show you that once we head over to the press. There were times, because I'm rolling at like 395 right now in temperature, that it was great. And then, of course, within seconds, it got too hot. So I took the art over to my table and I was able to weed a little bit because everything is so thin and tiny, I would almost avoid using the heat to help weed, just because you really want the tackiness of this carrier to hold down those commas, to hold down those L's and I's that are so tiny. Now, of course, from a sublimation standpoint, you could easily work this into your art, sublimate the pillow, and then you could use the texture like soft flock in whatever word that we're going to be doing on the front to help bring it a little bit more to life, give it some dimension, and just help it feel really soft and smooth. I love art that has dimension, and I really feel like it just increases the value of whatever we're creating. Looking for my scissors and they've all left. So I chose not to do orange because Halloween is here in a week. And yes, it could have easily worked for Thanksgiving. We could have done, brown words and even like red in Thankful. but I wanted that item that wasn't going to come and go in a month or two, but rather be out for several months. So we are going to go black, and then we are going to go red to help with kind of the Christmas time. Now, I want you guys to see weeding flock. There is definitely some texture to it, and it's a little bit more aggressive in terms of weeding. But because it is a warm peel, we could actually take it to the press and weed a lot faster. So I am going to do that, but I just wanted you to see the difference in time versus weeding without some heat and weeding with some heat. So I'm going to stop there. That's what the Thankful is going to look like. This is going to be ruby. Oh, it's kind of orange on my screen. This is like blood red. This is a deep red. It's not as orange or red orange that I'm seeing right now on my screen. So hopefully it's a little bit deeper of a red for you guys. And that is soft flock. I'm going to trim this down. Okay, so up next in terms of what we need for this pillow, we have our words, right? We have our transfers. This is the pillowcase that we're going to be using. It does have like an oatmeal heathered look to it. And this, it said sublimation pillow, 100% polyester. And I chose the oatmeal color versus the like true white because I didn't want it to be bright white. I want it to be a little bit warmer. And it's very, very soft. All right, now last but not least is our sublimation. So we're using a birchwood sublimation pattern transfer. And in order to print something like this, let me show you just really fast where you need to go. So on the Stahl's website, you're going to go to heat transfer vinyl. I know it's sublimation paper, but just bear with me. Where's the vinyl? There we go. Where did it go? And then we're going to come. I love to use the left-hand side where it says patterns. So I am just going to select patterns. And right here, that's what you want. Now there are thousands of options for patterns because there's some where you can customize color. There's some that have set color options. But slowly but surely, if you go to Creative Studios, there are different patterns in all of these. So you can come to textures, which there are several new textures for this. So if you wanted to do, this is travertine, you've got herringbone, you could even do a light wood Carrara marble. As you can see, they have new right above the new textures. And several of these were just added a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to go back. I hit the wrong back button. So make sure to go through navigation. This is where you want to go. If you hit back on the website, it's going to take you to the main page. And if you hit back here, it'll take you to all of, or the 3 categories for the most part. So let's just go holidays because that is kind of what we're talking about. Let's go Christmas. And there you can see our birch bark. So I'm going to click on this. This is where it gets really, really cool. So if you are wanting to create packages for people, then you have the ability to get different types of patterns. So I have this ivory and black color. So as you can see, I am selecting that. Now, if you wanted to change this color, we could make this bad boy blue and white, and there you go. But I'm going to stick with ivory and black, and then we're going to get next again. This is where you select your sublimation transfer, which is the sheet that I was showing. You can get it in sign vinyl. That way, if you wanted to pair home decor, being, cups and tumblers or trays mixed with pillows, there is glitter, there is soft foam, so it's going to be a little bit dimensional, but then have a really, really soft feel. And then, of course, I just selected sublimation transfer. Guys, because I'm logged in, everything shows up as 0. So just go in and kind of play with this so you can get a little comfortable with what you're doing. From here, all you do is just type in, as you can see, it's a 3-pack, and then hit add to cart, and you are good to go. So this is the transfer that you get, and we're going to use a good portion of this, about 80% of it, on a pillow. So just keep in mind, if you plan to do several, you can always do 3 at a time and then order in more, or just have several on hand and utilize the same transfer, the sublimation transfer, for a variety of things. Okay, so we're going to apply this first, and we are going to run on an extremely high heat. So I'm going to play with our settings just a little bit, but normally what I would do would be sublimate the pillow, and then I would let it cool down, and then I would go in with the heat transfer vinyl, let my heat press cool down, because like I said, we're rolling at 395, and we only need to be at 260 for ultra weed and 300 for soft flock. So much higher than what we need. So let's go ahead to the press. All right, so we are going to sublimate first, and then I am going to turn around and finish weeding some of that Thankful while the press tries to go down just a little bit. The first thing we need to do is pre-press. Now, I'm actually just going to slide this off because there is a zipper right here, just barely off. Now, I am, this is a pillow I have created before last year. And as you can see, that's too close. So this is the one that I have created last year. And as you can see, because of the pillow insert, we just really need to focus on this portion, not so much this part right here. So that's why I am hanging that zipper off, just to help. Now I want to make sure that we get rid of any wrinkles. There's a little bit right here. This came folded up. So again, that's another reason why I just want to make sure our surface is smooth to start with. And woo, the pressure is way off. I'm using an auto clam. Just making sure everything's good to go. And now our pillow is nice and crisp, and we can go ahead and put our sublimation transfer on it. Now I am going to put a cover sheet on top, and that is to help with any potential static. Because this is an autoclave, it's going to automatically open. So I'm just going to catch it in the middle of it opening, really. So I just moved the zipper to the front because I want to go in length for my pattern. versus in height. Take that back. I'm checking the wood grain to make sure it is going parallel with the zipper, just because I think I normally put zippers on the top. So you can control where your zipper is. You don't have to have me for that. I had my transfer rolled up, and it's making a little bit more difficult to align. All right, so this is going to cook for 45 seconds. It's hissing. There we go. Okay, I'm coming back. Did you guys hear the hiss? We got about 20 seconds. So the pillowcase is from Amazon. And there are several different options. As long as it's poly, you should be fine. I haven't had an issue yet decorating on any of the pillowcases that I've gotten from Amazon. So this is going to pop up. Like I said, I just kind of like to catch this. That way I am not fighting with any static. And then this is going to be really, really hot. So our transfer is done. Oh, hot, 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 hot. All right, so that's what this looks like. I'll show you before we start going. Okay. Okay. So hot. All right. So that's what the birchwood looks like. Now, the reason why I wanted to use the flock in the font was so that we would have some raised texture to it. Now, as I'm looking at this, I should have gone with white and red because you can't really see that font on there. For some reason, I was thinking it was going to be lighter, but at the end of the day, you're going to get an idea and you can adjust it. So let's go back. All right, so also realize I didn't change my temperature down. So we're going to be running really, really high. I'm probably going to only heat apply for several seconds versus soft flock is normally 311 at 15 because we're going to be so high in heat. I really just want it to adhere on there. I don't plan on ever washing this pillowcase. Okay, so now we just need to finish weeding our thankful. And once that heat just really starts to help release that carrier, I mean, this just peels so much easier versus having to sit there and fight with that texture on the carrier. It's probably even a little too hot right now. It's now starting to get a little too thin, but need my light. But you can see that that just peeled much easier than what it did when we were at my desk. Okay, so same thing. I am just going to keep our zipper off because we're never going to decorate that close up there. Now, next, I'm just going to find the center. And really, I'm just going to start using my fingers to make sure I'm in the middle as best as possible and where I want it. Like I said, that pillow is going to make this thing puff up. So just keep in mind on where your art is. So from here, I'm really just going to tack this down. So I only went for 3 seconds. This Ultra Weed is 260 to 300 degrees. And it's 8 to 10 seconds, and I went for 3 seconds, especially because we're going to have to go a little bit longer for the thankful. Now, because we are dealing with black on black, I am just making sure that that contour we created is exactly where our thankful is fitting. All right, now again, this one's going to be the full temperature, which would normally be that 15 seconds, but I'm really going to only let it go at about 8. We're at 369 right now. And then it's a warm peel, so we'll be able to peel fairly quick. Now, this is why we use a cover sheet, is because I still had some lift from that ink. And like I said, we shouldn't normally have that much lift, but I'm going to go one more time. I might have to get a new sheet. Because we're going so hot, we are still activating that ink. Okay, so let's let this cool down. Before we peel. So this is what it looks like. And like I said, if this was a little bit more faded, so you could have even done maybe like a gray or a tan versus getting, you know, that ivory and black where it's so, there's so much contrast. Now, once this is hot or warm, there we go. So it looks really, really pretty in person, but I would have loved for the crisp morning falling leaves that to have popped a little bit more. You could have easily done it without the sublimation transfer, but I wanted a background, and the background is too dark. I was going to use the insert that was in this, but this insert is way, way too big. Now that Ultra Weed, you're not going to fill it on your back or your head if you're actually using the pillow. And that soft flock, the same thing. That flock feels like velvet. So it's going to be very, very smooth to the touch. It's going to feel great on your body, and you won't have any like rigidness like you would with glitter flake, where you're just not quite sure if you should actually use the pillow or if it should just sit there. If you guys have any questions, pop them below. If you're looking for new projects and just trying to figure out like what you want to do, you've got to check out, there is a new edition. I'm going to go to the front page of the Make It magazine. So you can actually go to stalls.com and look at this catalog virtually. And then we will shortly be sending out physical magazines as well. So right here, you just click read online. And then I'm going to make sure that it's actually popping up what you need to. So let's go. So when you click that link, it will take you to the Make It magazine where you can flip through the catalog. This will give you some great ideas, tips and tricks. We've got holiday gift ideas, foiling for fall. Jenna is the foil expert, and the way she can foil things is just really incredible. Home decor. Why should you sell custom t-shirts? It's just going to keep going on and on all of these things that you can do when it comes to heat decoration. How-tos, artwork, and then of course, holiday gift guides. So if you are looking for new ideas and really just trying to learn and figure out how to branch out, make sure you check out the Make It magazine, the new edition for fall. And last but not least, if you guys didn't know Stalls had a podcast, we do. And you can find all of that information online as well. If you're the type of person while you're working, you like to be listening, maybe you don't have the time to sit and join us live, but you can keep something going and playing in the background. That's where the podcasts fall perfectly into your day. So make sure you check those out on the Stalls website as well. And I think that is it. So stay tuned. I am working on another pillow. So you'll have to check us out in Reels and TikToks to see how that one turned out. And of course, stay tuned. We are going to take our lives back to 2 times a month. And this was the first time. So next week we will not be live, but the following week we will. So stay tuned and we'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a great day.